Welcome to the You're in Charge podcast, prioritizing your self-care without sacrifice. I'm your host, Heather Dumas, healthy lifestyle strategist, owner and founder of HD Transformations Coaching Company. I am passionate about helping you juggle all the balls and look and feel like a badass doing it. I'm super excited to chat with Gable. I met Gable and instantly wanted to dive deeper into what she does. It's one of those things that some people love and some people are like, but it's always been something I've been interested in. So let me tell you a little bit more about her. She is an astrological advisor. She's passionate about empowering women to make their dreams into realities and to reconnect with their authentic selves. Aligning yourself with the natural cycles of astrology is one of the many ways that you can relieve stress and prevent burnout long term. I bet a lot of people don't know that. Even while navigating major life changes, such as the shift from 9-to-5 employment to being an entrepreneur, which I've taken, and I imagine that we'll hear more about yours. She has been sharing practical astrology with the world through her online business within Reach Astrology for more than 2 years. So welcome, Gable.
Hi, I'm really happy to be here. I'm excited about this chat.
Yeah. So a lot of people don't think astrology when they think of health, wellness, self-care. So how does it tie in?
Oh gosh, so many ways. I'd say that probably the main way is you're aligning yourself with the natural cycles, which puts you automatically into alignment with yourself and just makes life a little bit easier. It's the same as eating in season or following the moon cycles. It's just a very simple way that you can tap into, the easier cyclical life.
Yeah, I have definitely talked about the moon cycles before and how your hormones sync up to it. And there's a lot of actual science behind that. It's not just, people, woo-woo people talking about it. It's real. And I firmly believe that not just the moon, but other planets and that stuff out there. How does it not have an effect on us? It all has a gravitational pull. Animals are affected by the moon. It's not like they're reading their own astrological charts and that sort of thing. How do we get into it? If you've never heard of it, you've heard of it beyond like, what's your zodiac sign and it used to be the newspaper where you got your, what's that called? Your
horoscope.
That's the word I'm looking for. And now you can just like Google it and they email it to you and stuff like that. So beyond that, because I think that's most people know that, tell me more about that. How do we start to understand it?
I would say that the best way to start working with astrology is paying attention to the astrological events. So things like Mercury retrograde or the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction and researching those things. There's a lot of information out there that you can easily find and connecting that back to your life, like understanding how is that affecting me? How are those energies coming up for me? Mm-hmm. And that's one way that you can start connecting with astrology. It's a very simple way to do it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of people joke about the whole Mercury and retrograde thing, like messing everything up. And what are your thoughts on it?
The truth is it does, especially with technology, it can mess things up quite severely. But when there are tech issues coming up during Mercury retrograde, especially if there are a lot of them and they're like messing up your whole schedule, the key is to take a break because Mercury retrograde really wants you to disconnect from all the screens and all the busyness and come back to yourself. So when your computer's not working, that's a very clear sign that maybe it's time to quit work for the day. Maybe it's time to not post that, not try to send that email, and instead do some journaling, go outside.
Yeah. I think a lot of people try to fight that instead of working with it and don't take that as a sign. So I definitely, when my computer starts acting up, I just kind of give up because it just stresses me out too much.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When I listen to podcasts of great people, great coaches, I always think, yep, that's what I need. But sometimes I'm not ready to dive into coaching programs or dive into working with them full time. So I always look for the next best thing. Well, I've got that for you. It's called the Healthy Lifestyle Jumpstart. And it's exactly what, as it sounds, it is going to jumpstart your lifestyle. It's going to help you get moving in the right direction, start making the steps toward it. And if you decide you want to work with me after that, cool. If it gets you where you need to get, even better. Grab it on my website. It's $127, and it is going to be the best $127 you've ever spent because you are going to feel amazing in just 2 weeks. Now back to our conversation. So, what about the different zodiac signs? And we all kind of know the basics, like June is Gemini season. And I know Geminis because my kids are both Geminis. My dog is even a Gemini. My mom is a Gemini. I am surrounded by Geminis. But, we all kind of know the easy stuff, like I'm a Libra, it's the scales, it's balance. They're supposed to be flirty. Geminis are supposed to be two completely different people, which my children definitely are. Depends on the day, which version I get. But what's some stuff that maybe we don't know that relates to our health and our wellness and how we live our lives?
Yeah, that's a really great question, because the common way that people work with astrology is, they hear things about, let's say, Libra or Sagittarius. I'm a Sagittarius. They hear all the stereotypes attached to it and they try to identify themselves with those stereotypes. But I strongly believe that astrology is so much more than just a personality typing system or like a form of entertainment. And it's definitely not an excuse for your behavior. It's, as some people use it, it goes so much deeper than your sun sign. When you have your birth chart, you can work with all the different facets of yourself, because like for you, you're not just a Libra, you have planets in other signs as well. You're also adding on the layer of the 12 houses in your birth chart,
Right.
which is what I really love to work with my clients, because those 12 houses represent the 12 different areas of your life, which include your physical health. And there's even a self-care house.
There is. I did not know that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. It's the fourth house. It represents how you restore your energy and how you come back to yourself, how you ground, how you center. So when you know how to work with your fourth house specifically for you, you'll have a personalized self-care menu, which is really cool.
I love that. I just did my human design thing. I just did like a human design report and I was amazed. And it does tie in some astrology. Am I right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It said mountains. And I was like, that's kind of freaky because mountains are my happy place. Like when I'm unhappy, I go to the mountains. Like if I can be in the mountains, be on a mountain, life just gets better. Right. And I know some people, it's the ocean, some people it's whatever, but I thought that was the funniest thing. I was like, wow, this is like freakishly close to accurate. I mean, like it's dead on. So that's really cool. And I think if people knew more about how they need to be recharged and they went and got their chart done and looked at that house and were like, oh, what are some other things that people find in their fourth house?
Well, there are 3 ways that I help my clients work with their fourth house. There's always an element attached to it. So earth, air, fire, or water. I'll take myself as an example because I know my fourth house element is air. So that can look like taking deep breaths is very important to my self-care. That's why yoga is such an important part of like my daily routine, because it connects me back to my breath. And then there's a modality, which can be cardinal, mutable, or fixed, which is the way that you approach taking care of yourself, essentially. And that's all about working with those natural tendencies instead of against them, even if that's like not what everyone else says you're supposed to do. That's how you naturally work with it. And there are ways that you can leverage that in your favor. And then there are the connected houses. So the other areas of your life that you don't think are taking care of yourself, but are actually adding fuel to the house that grounds you and centers you. So that could look like even something as wild as showing up on social media can recharge you on a certain level.
Interesting. Yeah.
That can really like make things click in someone's mind. They're like, oh yeah, I never thought about that before, but it does help me. I can connect them in a certain way. That's crazy.
I think that's really, really important and kind of takes the guesswork out of it, doesn't it? If you know where to start, I mean, because I'm a huge advocate for everyone understanding their own body and what it needs, and that no 2 bodies are the same, and what works for someone else may not work for them, whether it's diet, exercise, rest, rejuvenation, whatever. Some people like me want to go for a walk in the mountains. Other people want to go for a walk on the beach. Other people want to sit and read a book, and there's different ways to rest and recharge and refill that cup, so to speak. And I really do feel like a lot of people don't know their thing. or they think they know their thing because, like you said, someone else said, oh, you should try this, or you should do yoga or whatever. And it ends up having the opposite effect, which is interesting. I've learned a lot about myself in that, and that I like things organized and I like schedules and routines and stuff. But if I feel like I have to do something, or I feel like I should be doing something, but I don't really want to do it, or I don't like doing it, it really is hard for me. Like it like zaps my happiness, it zaps my energy really fast. And that's an interesting thing for me to try to balance. Speaking of being a Libra, my need for like doing things that I'm supposed to do and like achieving the A's and doing the things. So I had to learn how to reach my goals and work with my desire for organization and planning, because I'm right on the cusp, by the way. I'm only a Libra by an hour. So I've got a lot of Virgo, a lot of that organized anal retentiveness, but I don't like to be held to places I don't want to be. And I've learned that through coaching. I've learned that through just self-reflection and through astrology, human design, the Enneagram. I've always loved all those things. It's just more information. It's just like knowing how much weight you need to lift. It's just like knowing, oh, my body doesn't like dairy or gluten or whatever, knowing what things give my body what it needs and what things suck it out is everything. Let's pause for a conversation about collagen. Now, I'm sure you've seen it. All the celebrities are on it. Everybody's talking about it. But here's what they're not telling you. The stuff that you buy at Costco, it is full of heavy metals. There is a lot of crap out there. There are a lot of supplements that are not tested. They are not backed by any kind of science. You don't want that in your body. You do want collagen. It is the most abundant protein in your body. It, as you probably know, makes your hair and nails luxurious. But what you don't know is it helps with joint health. It helps with skin's elasticity. It helps with everything. It's kind of the lubricant that makes all your cells work. So you need to grab some. And the best part is it's flavorless. So you can mix it in your coffee, in your shakes, in your whatever you want, and make sure that you are giving your body what it needs every single day. Grab some collagen peptides on my website, and let's get back to the conversation. Is there any other aspect of the chart or, just astrology in general that really feeds into helping us understand ourselves?
You can go deep into all the 12 houses, and I've really had the most transformation in my life from working with my first house, which is the house of your physical health. And that really comes into play when you want to start doing different things to support your well-being. So when you want to start new healthy habits, when you have a health issue that you want to get rid of, but that means you need to make some lifestyle changes. That means you need to live a little bit differently. And that can be a difficult transition. And that's when you need to work with your first house, because that's just going to help you make that transition easier. It's going to make you want to show up, because of course you already have the motivation.
Right.
You have the motivation of, I want to feel better. I want to look better. I want to feel stronger. I want to feel more radiant. But then when you go to do the thing, you're like, oh, I don't have the time. Maybe I'll just do it tomorrow. It won't be such a big deal if I skip it today.
Right.
And what difference will just this one small change make, really, in the end?
Right.
So when you have your first house fuel, I like to call it fuel because it is different from motivation. When you have the fuel in your tank, in your first house tank, you'll actually be like, yeah, I do want to be healthier. I'm going to show up and do that small thing for myself today.
Right.
Said I was going to do. I'm going to start with that habit. Today's day 1. Let's go.
Yeah.
And then the next day you'll be like, yeah, day 2. I'm up for that. I've got fuel in the tank. And that has helped me overcome depression, heal my lymphatic system.
Wow.
And also take better care of my skin, just because I made a commitment to making sure there was fuel in my first house and understanding better how I worked with it and why it's hard for me to, stay consistent with healthy habits, even though I'm like the consistency queen and all other things.
Well, just like I like to be super organized and like have strict schedules and, whatever, you have to understand yourself.
Yeah.
You just flat out have to understand yourself.
And how you approach the different areas of your life differently can be really insightful, because I think most people tend to have more of a certain approach to more areas of their life. So they're like,
Uh-huh.
that's just how I do everything.
Yeah.
And then there's that one that they don't, and they're like, that's so weird. That is just hard for me, I guess.
Uh-huh.
But it doesn't have to be. It's just about understanding that not all areas of your life are equal.
I love that. So it seems like it would be really beneficial for all of us to have our chart done, first of all. I don't know a lot of people. Like I said, my dad was a true hippie and he was all into this stuff in the 60s. And so when I came along, like he did my chart and like he did my mom's chart and his chart to make sure they were compatible. It was a whole thing. So I actually came into the world knowing a little bit, like introduced to it really early on. But I think a lot of people, like I said, beyond knowing your horoscope and your zodiac sign, they don't know a lot of it. So do you do people's charts? If they want you to do their chart or they want to learn more and they want you to interpret it for them, where do they find you? Tell us all the things.
Yeah, well, I do offer birth chart readings. I like to call them personal instruction manuals because they're really that useful. It's seriously a breakdown of how you approach every single area of your life, and then you have that for the rest of your life. So you can work with obstacles and learn more about yourself. I offer that for children too, so that you can better understand how your kids approach their
Which is
lives.
everything. It is
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, definitely, because they're different people. And understanding what they need could really be a game changer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's interesting because as my kids have grown, and like I said, I knew they were Geminis when they were born and kind of the basics of what to expect. And my dad did do my son's chart, but I haven't revisited it in years and years. And I've never had my daughter's chart done. So I might have you do that for us because as they grow and as they've developed, I'm like, who are you? Like, how do you tick? And you learn the hard way, or you can learn the easy way and have someone interpret it for you. So I think it would be a very valuable tool for anyone and everyone, not to just understand yourself, but your spouse. Like, how great to know what makes your spouse happy and what makes them not happy.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much. And I will definitely link to where you can find Gable on the show notes
Yes.
and you can dive into it. But I would really highly encourage you. It goes way beyond the woo, as she explained. Like, it really is how you tick. And if you're trying to take care of yourself, if you're trying to like reduce stress and give your body what it needs, why not take a little roadmap written by the stars for us?
Yeah, definitely. And I love what you said about you could do it the hard way and find out through trial and error, or you could do it the easy way and
Yeah.
know your birth chart.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. Awesome. Thanks, Gable.
Yeah, happy to be here.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much for joining me today. Remember, you're in charge. You're the only one who can create the life and the body you desire. You and only you. I'm here to guide you. I'm here to cheer you on and occasionally to give you the kick in the ass you need to make it happen. But at the end of the day, it's up to you. If you found value in today's episode, please hit subscribe. It'll bring all the newest episodes to the top of your list. You won't have to worry about it. One less thing. And I would love for you to share it with your most stressed out, frazzled friend. She needs it even more than you do. If you have a question or a topic that you'd like me to cover, reach out, shoot me a message on any of the socials or directly on my website. I would love to hear your idea, your question, and I'm always looking for new ones. Until next time, keep being the badass you are, and remember, you are in charge.